Hey there! I wanted to show you possibly a couple of time-saving tips when you are using the new Blossoms punch. I kind of figured out by trial and error when I was making this card, which was one of my Technique Tuesday cards last month, that there's a couple ways that you can save paper or conserve paper when you use this punch. So I wanted to show you how to do that. First of all, your best bet is to cut your paper about 2 3/4 by 8 1/2, and this is to do the large petals, and this is also assuming that you're stamping them. So I'm going to go ahead and use this stamp, and the first thing I want to do is just stamp one petal, and notice I'm doing it all the way on the left side of the paper. Then the next thing you want to do is go ahead and punch that out. So you just line it up and punch. And you'll get your petal and a whole bunch of other little pieces that'll fly around, but that's okay. Then you're going to want to go ahead and punch again and get that petal as close to the last one as possible. And just go ahead and punch again. Now you'll notice that you're punching the petal, and these other leaves and petals are kind of punching the scraps, but you already moved past that, so that actually doesn't matter. So you want to go ahead, here you have two, and you want to just keep repeating this process. And if all goes well, you should be able to get 5 petals across the board on just this 8 1/2 inch piece of paper. And when I made the sample that I showed you earlier, I actually used 10 petals, so I would have done this 2 times, and that gives you everything that you need. Okay, so I'll punch one more. And then I think I have just enough space to do the last one. There we go. Okay, so there you go. So this is what it kind of looks like when you're finished. But you have your 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 petals out of 8 1/2 inches of paper. So now that that's done, I'll also show you a trick with the leaves that I used here, which is this part right here, which can actually be a leaf or a petal. It kind of depends on which flower you're making. And the best way to kind of maximize your paper for that, I found, is to take a skinny strip. This is only 1 1/4 inches wide, and take your stamp, and now I have So Saffron ink, and you want to stamp either the leaf or the petal, whichever it is, or whichever you want it to be, with the fatter end down and the skinnier end up, and punch that as close to the right side of your paper as possible. Then that way you can take your punch and line up, and you don't get as many scraps. You're just going to get a tiny little bit there and there, and you punch that out, and then you've maximized your paper. And if you're good, you can actually get a whole row up this way, and then you can turn it and get a couple more this way. You can kind of see that in this piece right here. So hopefully that helps you maximize your paper a little bit when you're creating flowers with this awesome new punch, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks!